Well, here I am at the end of another year. Want to review Kill.Switch? Or is it Kill.Switch? Well, I don't care enough to care, so on with the critique. Surprisingly enough, there's actually a good story here, and a really interesting concept in the game. Instead of playing as some guy firing a gun, you're actually playing as the controller of the character. What's his name and why is he being used, and what makes him so important, it's all part of the story and I really don't want to spoil it. The whole idea of controlling someone to do your dirty work, and I mean dirty, is an intriguing idea.
Initiating system shutdown.
This turned out much better than I expected. How did it feel?
Like I was playing a video game.
How appropriate. War at the push of a button.
You want him to stay down here a bit longer? I could always go for a new high score.
We've done sufficient damage for now, Control. Not only have we instigated hostilities in this country, we have in our possession a portable thermonuclear device. Bring him in. There's more work to be done elsewhere.
It's very similar to the mindjacking from the movie Ghost in the Shell. And Ghost in the Shell, as we all know, is the greatest thing in the history of ever. If you've played any third-person game in the last 5 years, you owe your enjoyment, or your frustration, to Kill.Switch. Yep, it was the first game to put in place the typical cover mechanics we all love and hate. This wasn't the first game to use environmental objects as protection, but the whole game was built around it. You can blind fire, throw grenades without exposure, and peek around corners. For its age, it holds up rather well. Cover keeps you away from danger, and it's easy to quickly roll to safety if you start to get overwhelmed. But your enemies aren't oblivious to these mechanics, and will do the usual stuff we see today. Shoot around a corner while peeking out their heads for an easy headshot. Enemies themselves can be pretty clever. They'll move to different cover all the while trying to flank you. There are some cheap moments though, where you can get killed by a grenade launcher in a single hit, but enemies all drop the same with a few rounds. But that's true for you. It only takes exposing yourself for a few moments to hit the ground for good. Taking cover or duck walking is the best way to survive. You have to be extra careful considering that you die once, it's back to the beginning of the stage. Though levels are quite short. Walking is the best way to survive. Now the shooting itself isn't that bad, but it feels very inaccurate. You'll swear you've hit a guy in the head, but they disagree as they blast you away. Ammo can be really scant, so continually missing one grunt can put you on a steep disadvantage. Blind firing is a bad idea, since where you fire doesn't match up with the reticle, so a lot of your bullets are just going to be hitting your cover. You can aim down the sights, but that just makes you a sitting duck. An annoying little tidbit is how when you hit an enemy, they stumble, which doesn't mean they're dead, it's just fancy animations at work. You might not care, but I've died a good few times when I thought the coast was clear. Graphically, the game is pretty meh. None of the environments really stand out, a lot of generic factories and buildings litter the level design, though they all have perfect waist-high boxes conveniently. Occasionally the game's frame rate could bog down and enemies get stuck in walls too, so that sucks. Really, the biggest complaint I can give the game is the pitiful length. Playing on normal, from beginning to end, I finished Kill.Switch in 2 hours and 45 minutes. Yeah, no multiplayer, different options, or hell, collectibles. I've talked about short action games like Psyops, and they're fine when there is actually a reason to go back and play them. But here, no such thing exists. On its own, Kill.Switch is nothing worthy of note, besides being a decent action game. But looking back in retrospect with what we have now, it's worth being part of the history books, though maybe for not all the right reasons.